Best New IP. While the past year was mostly filled with familiar franchises, there were a handful of new intellectual properties that stood out among everything else. One of the biggest gripes Nintendo fans have with the company is that they don't expand their horizon all that often. Their focus is Mario, and rightfully so, as anything with the Italian plumber's face on it sells exponentially well. Splatoon breaks that mold as, while it started off a little light on content, Nintendo has supported it heavily in the 7 months it's been on the market. It certainly helps that the game's mechanics are highly addictive, and there's a lively community always looking to play a match or two. In a world of dark and gritty shooters or serious adventures, it's nice to see something a little bit more upbeat. Splatoon is a game we'd love to see more of, making it our best new IP this year. The sequel of sequels. The Witcher and its sequel never truly cracked the mainstream audience quite like the third game in the heralded franchise did. CD Projekt Red demonstrated that it was capable of transitioning from semi-linear design filled with separate hubs to a full-on open-world RPG. This Polish developer showed that it can create a story that both embraces its longtime fans and ropes in new players at the same time. It's an immense and engrossing world that will have players getting lost in the various activities scattered about. The Witcher 3 is the ultimate RPG experience, and while there are some gamers out there who prefer one or more of its predecessors, it's hard to deny what a marvel this game truly is. Biggest surprise.
What? Really?
Well, thanks.
When it was announced that Telltale was going to make both a Game of Thrones and a Borderlands game, we thought the latter was going to be a throwaway experience. I mean, Game of Thrones is still one of the most beloved pieces of fiction to grace cable networking, and with a number of recognizable actors joining the cast of the game, we thought Tales from the Borderlands would get the backseat treatment. Boy, were we wrong, as Tales from the Borderlands is an absolute delight through and through. Just as we expressed with Splatoon, 2015 has an overwhelming number of games that are far too serious for their own good. Tales from the Borderlands is the complete opposite, being a highly comical choose-your-own-adventure game that has laughing at the numerous antics and getting attached to characters as they're properly developed. Tales from the Borderlands is a joyful and pleasant surprise that caught us off guard.
Wait, what?
Best Remaster or Remake.
You gonna plunder a few temples, loot the museum?
That's just a little historical research.
Ever since the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One launched in 2013, we've had a Best Remastered category in our awards. It's a ridiculous premise to be praising companies for porting their older games to newer platforms. But among the many that came out in 2015, and there were a lot, there were a few that stood out. Naughty Dog's Uncharted series is one of them. Unlike The Last of Us, Bluepoint Games took the reins on this project, but what they've done only helps aid the adventures. While the resolution and frame rate bumps are pretty much expected at this point, it's the modified texture work and added geometry to the environments that strengthen the visual fidelity. Best yet, Nathan Drake's face has been completely remodeled in Drake's Fortune, although it kind of stands out among the older character models. Regardless, Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection is the best new old game of 2015.